Apple Music. This is my last one. It is. I need a lighter. Fuck, I gotta go back in the house and grab a lighter. I'm gonna roll it first though. This is my last blunt. Guys, I still have a little headache. I have like a little fucking headache. I gotta finish what God wanted me to read today. I literally have a headache. I feel sick. Hi. Got me saying, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I gotta go in and grab my lighter. Bye. I should have grabbed some Keef. Got me saying, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I gotta go get me my lighter. Talking around. I'm talking lights, camera, action. Got me thinking I might get on my iPad in a second, but I'm about to let it charge for a little bit. I'll be right back. I gotta go get a lighter. Thank you. I have a headache today. No idea. I don't know. I don't have one. And then he said in 3 days it'll happen. Yeah, and it's crazy because it's 3 days and 3 days. Yesterday I was supposed to read that. 3 days before Nipsey's death and 3 days before Jesus's death. That's 6 days. Yeah, something's gonna happen. Because I don't have HIV. It's better than having HIV. Well, in some of y'all's case, it's AIDS. It's been past HIV for years. Yeah, that's why my energy has been off all month. A lot of weird shit happened this month. Definitely. Nipsey's anniversary is in 2 days, and Jesus' anniversary is in 5 days. I was supposed to read that yesterday. Which makes sense because this month was terrible as far as me being harassed. Oh, I know he wasn't gonna let this shit just keep carrying on like this. Yep, and then three is significant because of threes. And then in the room, my candle is three. Yep, I knew something was gonna happen. I've been feeling like this for weeks. Literally. You probably think that because you have AIDS. You know STDs untreated mentally fuck up your mind? Did you know that? Did you know that STIs can kill you if they go untreated? You don't gotta worry about HIV or AIDS. If you have an STI and you never get it treated, It can kill you. At least I don't have STDs. What do you want to talk about? Ohio. It's crazy because half of you bitches probably didn't even know you had HIV. These niggas probably never told you anything. Don't take that shit out on me. They probably never told you. They were just gonna let you die. I can guarantee you. Poor things. Then you looking at your friends. You got to be mad at your friends because your friends that knew and didn't tell you, then them ain't your friends. Know what the what you beefing with me for? Shit, I saved your life. Imagine if you never knew. Literally. Put in my name. Whatever you got to tell yourself to feel better about your pathetic ass life. Whatever you have to tell yourself about your pathetic ass life. I don't. You're right. I absolutely don't. You're absolutely right. Imagine fucking so many niggas that you've ruined your womb and you can't have any children and calling somebody else a slut. No, imagine being so loose that you had to go get a penis because your coochie was demolished. Ew, yuck. Ew, yuck. No, I never know she did that. See, I gotta look at the time. Damn, she did come out first. This is so funny to me. She did come out first. Because I took the spot. Well, bitch, if you ain't shitting to get off the pot. I'm just putting stuff together that I never paid attention to before. I'm screaming. That's why these hoes was always mad. So fuck I look like. I crack myself up. And then, you know what's crazy? You know how many deers there was? Two. How many days is left until Nipsey's anniversary? Two. Is it my fault that all of you bitches gone? Should have sent a thank you note, you little hoe. Now I'm a. But bitch, you just mad because you took this. Oh, what that bitch? Well, bitch, if you ain't shitting, then get off the. I don't got no more blunts. I got my bong though. I could hit my bong, but yeah, light one for me. I just gotta go get my bong if I want to smoke again, but I don't want to smoke right this second. I'm listening to music in case y'all didn't know. I'm always listening to music. I'm listening to Got a Card by Nicki Minaj. Yeah, there's always birds out here. There's birds all over Ohio because you want to go on walks, you hear birds. Always. My headache's going away. I got this willy shit I could drink, but I gotta get some ice for it because it's warm. Yeah, I'm there. I'm just trying to think. Oh, wait, no. I'm wrong. His anniversary is March. We're in May. Wrong month. But something's going to happen in 3 days, regardless. He said it would happen in 3 days and then 6. Something's going to happen. And then there was 2 deers. And then today, when I lit my candle, I swear to God, one of it light out, one of the little things blew out, and it blew to 3 again. We're in the wrong month. That was my bad. Sorry. When you don't work real jobs, you forget what day it is all the time. I swear to God. I just don't know what's gonna happen. Them the bitches I stumped for. You know what's crazy? That's the same. You know what's crazy? That is the same connection that that nigga has. There's a common theme. And you know it's how it's always something bad when there's a black woman involved. Just pay attention to the dot. That is a common theme right there. I'm seeing the patterns. That's what I'm saying. You just have to question how much the FBI really does their job, because if you really pay attention to the patterns, they're right there. And then I have to think about that time period. There's a lot of things that came out around that time period. American Horror Story. I think they got another season of their show. I'm just thinking about what else was going on around that time period. It just is like crap. Okay. What do you mean? I look crazy. I'm just chilling today. And a lot of stuff actually does make sense. Okay. I have two back tattoos and I have a side tattoo. Mm, no, I don't get hotels every day. Just sometimes. Hey, I know you can't use my lip gloss. You bitches make a nigga dick soft. It's crazy because guess what? Guess what? Everybody's gonna have to pay that karma back. And I'm just thinking about as many people is about to get karma and how bad it's gonna get. It's already getting bad. These bitches are desperate. See, one thing is people will never show you what their reality really looks like. It's a lot of catfishing going on. A lot of these people are already being affected. You just don't see it. They really don't have anything going on. If you really think about it, they really don't have shit going on right now. That's why motherfuckers have so much free time. Ain't no bookings going on. Ain't no shows. Let me tell you how bad it was. It was so bad. Do you remember the SAG frag protest I had? All them shows and all that money that them people lost out on for all the months. See, this has been ongoing for a long time. I'm telling you, God is sending little things by little. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. I can't even lie to you and act like it's going to get better. It's not. Even certain things that got cut, certain shows that got cut, certain things, like, that was God. It's only going to get worse. Then imagine why they were protesting, because they weren't getting paid any money. This should been a recession. If they were doing good, why the fuck would they be protesting for money? And people don't protest for money because they're doing good. People protest for money when they're going broke. Everybody came out and complained about how they weren't getting paid right. A lot of celebrities are basically coming out and telling you that they're not doing good financially right now. Jeez, I wonder why. They definitely did some shit to me in 2020. And whatever they did is backfiring like a motherfucker. Life in fucking shambles. Yes, I'm good. I'm good, good. That's a big problem. I got a slight headache. It's like real little. It's like, do you know just a really, you ever had just a really light headache before? You ever had just a light headache before? No, That's cool. Oh shit! That scared the fuck out of me. It's a cat. Bro, why do animals always come to me? I'm sorry, it scared the fuck out of me. I know what it was. I just seen a big ass animal. It's just a cat. It scared the fuck out of me. I seen them deers earlier. I don't do animals. But why do animals always come to me? I think that has a lot to say about your energy. I cut all my niggas out, but they was still fighting me. Because you hoes too old to be gossiping. Heavy on that. All right, we're about to get into the Bible. Let's get into the Bible. I already know what happens to this, but this is way easy. We already read this a couple weeks ago. You know what's crazy? We read this a couple weeks ago when a lot of this bullshit really started happening. And I think that this is like confirmation. I read this at the beginning of this bullshit, at the beginning of the month. It might have been at the end of the month. Or was it at the beginning of the month? It was right when this shit started happening. I remember distinctly when I read it and where I was at. And apparently I have to read this too because this just flipped up too. And this is Genesis, which is the beginning. So I'll go back to that. I got water. I need to get my chapstick because this is a lot. It says, when his brothers were ready to leave, Joseph ordered his household manager to fill each of their sacks with much grain as they could and carry it, and put on the mouth of each man's sack the money he has paid. He was also told, you put Joseph's own silver cup at the top of Benjamin's sack, along with grain money. So the household manager did as he was told. The brothers were up at dawn and on their way with their loaded donkeys. But when they barely got out of the city, Joseph said to his house manager, chase after them and stop them and ask them why they're acting like this when their benefactor has been so kind to them. Ask them, what do you mean by stealing my lord's personal silver drinking cup, which he uses for fortune telling? What a wicked thing you have done. So he caught up with them and spoke to them along the lines he had been instructed. What in the world are you talking about? They demanded. What kind of people do you think we are? You accuse us of such terrible thing as that. Did we bring back the money we found in the mouth of our sacks? Why would we steal silver or gold from your master's house? If you find his cup with any of us, let that one die, and all the rest of us will be slaves forever to your master. Fair enough, the man replied, except the one who stole it will be the slave, and the rest of you can go free. They quickly took down their sacks from the backs of their donkeys and opened them. He began searching the oldest brother's sack, going down the line to the youngest, and the cup was found in Benjamin's. They ripped their clothing in despair, loaded the donkeys again, and returned to the city. Joseph was still home when Judah and his brothers arrived, and they fell to the ground before him. What were you trying to do? Joseph demanded. Didn't you know such a man as I would know who stole it? And Judah said, oh, what shall we say to my Lord? How can we plead? How can we prove our innocence? God is punishing us for our sins. So we have all returned to be your slaves, both we and he in whose sack the cup was found. No, Joseph said, only the man who stole the cup, he shall be my slave. The rest of you can go home to your father. Then Judah stepped forward and said, oh, sir, let me say just one word. Be patient with me for a moment, for I know you can do me in an instant, as though you were the Pharaoh himself. I'm gonna drink this water. It says, sir, you asked us if we had a father or a brother, and we said, yes, we have a father, an old man, and a child his age, a little one, and his brother is dead, and he alone left one of his mother's children, and his father loved him very much. And you said to us, bring him here so I can see him. But we said to you, sir, the lad cannot leave his father, for his father would die. But you told us, don't come back here unless your youngest brother is with you. So we returned to our father and told him what you had said. And when he said, go back again and buy a little food, we replied, we can't go unless you let the youngest brothers go with us. Only then may we come. Then my father said to us, you know that my wife had two sons, and that one of them went away and never returned, doubtless torn to pieces by some wild animal. I have never seen him since. And if you take away his brother from me also, and any harm befalls him, I shall die with sorrow. And now, sir, if I go back to my father, and the lad is not with us, seeing that our father's life is bound up in the lad's life, when he sees us, that boy is not with us, our father will die, and we will be responsible for bringing down his gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Sir, I pledged my father that I would take care of the lad. I told him, if I don't bring him back to you, I shall bear the blame forever. Please, sir, let me stay here as a slave instead of the lad, and let the lad return with his brothers. For how shall I return to my father if the lad is not with me? I cannot bear to see what this would do to him. It says Joseph could stand it no longer. Out of all he cried out of his attendants, and he was left alone with his brothers. Then he wept aloud. His sobs could be heard throughout the palace, and the news was quickly carried to Pharaoh's palace. I am Joseph, he said to his brother. Is my father still alive? But his brothers couldn't say a word. They were so stunned with surprise. Come on over, he said. So they came closer, and he said again, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. But don't be angry with yourselves that you did this to me, for God did it. He sent me here ahead of you to preserve your lives. These 2 years of famine will grow to 7, during which there will be neither plowing nor harvest. God has sent me here to keep you and your families alive, so that you will become a great nation. Yes, it was God who sent me here, not you. And he has made me a counselor to Pharaoh and a manager of the entire nation, ruler of all the land of Egypt. Hurry, return to my father and tell him, your son Joseph said, God has made me chief of all the land of Egypt. Come down to me right away. You shall live in the land of Goshen, so that you can near me with all of your children, your grandchildren, your flocks, your herds, and all that you have. I will take care of you here. Benjamin and his son. So basically, I already know what happens. He ends up reuniting with his father. He lives for a long time. And when his father comes, his father ends up coming and living for a little bit, and then his father passes away. Yeah. Jacob's prophecy is and I've watched this book. This is Joseph the King. This is one of my favorite stories. Now this is the one right here. This is 50. This is Exodus. But basically, what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to read all of this, because I already know this by heart, because this is another story that I've read, I'm going to sum this shit up. So basically, there was a time where the Pharaoh was evil, and this actually relates to what's going on in the world right now. And I remember when I said this, and I tried to say I was crazy, but I'm not crazy. This is also how the story is coming back. The Pharaoh was trying to destroy the slaves of Egypt. And so basically, what he did was there was a period because he didn't want them to be able to come into power and overthrow them. He basically killed all the boys. He started killing any boys that were born to the slaves had to die. Now, how can you relate that to today's times? Look at certain communities, and not even just killing them is like just straight up killing them, like that goes on too. But think about also gayness. I'm just gonna say it bluntness. Oh no, that is killing our community. Gayness, interracialness. If you don't want a community to repopulate, what do? You make them gay. You make them hate their race. You make them date outside of their race. They repopulate outside of their race. Those are all ways to kill a community. I'm just gonna say it. I mean, not like the truth, but it's the fucking truth. The truth is the truth. You don't gotta like the truth, but the truth is the truth. Still the truth. Just because you like the lie doesn't make it a truth. Anyways, so basically, the Pharaoh ends up killing all of the slaves' sons so that they can't repopulate, so that they don't grow strong and basically be able to overtake them. That's one of his fears. But there is a baby who is named Moses. And basically, his mom wraps him up in a blanket and puts him in the stream because she doesn't have the heart to kill him. And she just prays that somebody will find him. And what's crazy is the Pharaoh's family is the one that ends up finding Moses. His wife ends up finding Moses and bringing him in and like makes up these lies or whatever to end up keeping Moses. And they end up keeping Moses. And Moses ends up becoming a part of the family. And he's like royal. He doesn't even know where he comes from. He didn't know that his family found him in a stream. And all this happens. And then one day, Moses sees Moses sees this Egyptian um, bullying. Um, I forget. Hold on. Let me see. Where is he from? Because I want to be right when I say this. Um, Hold on. I'm trying to see what is his ethnicity. He's a Hebrew. Okay. Yes. Okay. He's a Hebrew. Okay. Yeah. So he ends up. They're gonna. Yeah. He ends up seeing the Egyptian like beating the Hebrew slave, and he ends up killing the Egyptian, which is his people. But he doesn't know that he's actually a Hebrew. So when he does that, somebody actually sees him do it. So he runs away out of fear that he's going to get in trouble. And he ends up running back to where he's from and ends up finding out um, what happened to him and where he's from and stuff. And then one day, God ends up coming and visits him and gives him these instructions to basically go and free the other Hebrew slaves from the Egyptians. And I want to get to that part because, oh, yeah, the burning bush, that's where he sees God. Um, Let's read that part. This is actually a good part because this is really where it starts. The burning bush. One day, as Moses was tending the flocks of his father-in-law Jethro, a priest of Midian, out of the edge of the desert near Hebron, the mountain of God, suddenly the angel of Jehovah appeared to him as a flame of fire in a bush. When Moses saw that the bush was on fire and that it didn't burn up, he went over to investigate. Then God called out to him, "Moses, Moses, who is it?" Moses asked. "Don't come any closer," God told him. "Take off your shoes, for you are standing on holy ground." And then everybody says that there's an epidemic of having children. Don't you think gayness plays a huge part in that? We've never been so openly gay as a society in our entire lives. Don't you think gayness has a huge part to play why nobody's having kids? Yes, it definitely does. Just saying, low birth rate because everybody's gay. Then God called out to him, "Moses, Moses, who is it?" Moses asked. "Don't come any closer," God told him. "Take off your shoes, for you are standing on holy ground. I am the God of your fathers, the God of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." Moses covered his face with his hands, for he was afraid to look at God. Then the Lord told him, "I have seen the deep sorrows of my people in Egypt, and have heard their pleas for freedom from their harsh masters. I have come to deliver them for the Egyptians and to take them out of Egypt into a good land, a large land, and a land flowing with milk and honey. The land where the Canaanites, Hittites, and Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, Jebusites live. Yes, the wail of the people of Israel has risen to me in heaven, and I have seen the heavy task the Egyptians have oppressed with them. Now I am going to send you to Pharaoh to demand that he lead you my people out of Egypt. But I am not the person for a job like that, Moses exclaimed. Then God told him, "I will certainly be with you, and this is proof that I am the one who is sending you. When you have led the people out of Egypt, you shall worship God here upon the mountain." Well, Moses said, "If I go to the people of Israel and tell them that their fathers, God has sent me, they will ask, 'Which God are you talking about?' What shall I tell them? 'The sovereign God,' was the reply. 'Just as I am has sent me.' Yes, tell them, Jehovah, the God of your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my eternal name to be used throughout all of the generations. Call together all the elders of Israel." God instructed him, "And tell him about Jehovah appearing to you here in this burning bush, and that he said to you, 'I have visited my people and have seen what is happening to them there in Egypt. I promise to rescue them from the drudgery and humiliation they are undergoing, and to take them to the land now occupied by Canaanites, Hittites, and Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, a land flowing with milk and honey.' The elders of the people of Israel will accept your message. They must go with the king of Egypt and tell them, 'Jehovah, the God of the Hebrews, has met with us, instructed us to go 3 days on to a 3 days journey in the desert to sacrifice to him. Give us your permission, but I know that the king of Egypt will not let us except under heavy pressure. So I will give him all the pressure he needs. I will destroy Egypt with my miracles. Then the last he will let you go. And I will see to it that the Egyptians load you down with gifts when you leave, so that you will by no means go empty handed. Every woman will ask for jewels, silver, gold, and the finest of clothes from the Egyptians' masters, wives, and neighbors. You will clothe your sons and daughters with the best of Egypt." But Moses said, "They won't believe me. They won't do what I tell them. They'll say, 'Jehovah never appeared to you.' What do you have there in your hand?" the Lord asked him. And he replied, "A shepherd's rod. Throw it down on the ground," the Lord told him. So he threw it down, and it became a serpent, and Moses ran from it. Then the Lord told him, "Grab it by the tail," and did it, and it became a rod in his hand again. "Do that, and they will believe you," the Lord told him. Then they realized that Jehovah, the God of their ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, have really appeared to you. And reach your hand inside, and your robe next to your chest. And then he did, and took it out again, and was white with leprosy. "Now put it in again," Jehovah said. And when he did it, took it out again, and it was normal, just as before. If they don't believe the first miracle, they will the second, the Lord said. And if they don't accept you after these two signs, they take water from the Nile River and pour it down the dry land, and it will return to the blood. But Moses pleaded, O Lord, I'm just not a good speaker. I never have been, and I'm not new, even after you have spoken to me. For I have a speech impediment. Who makes mouths? Jehovah asked him, Isn't it I, the Lord, who makes a man so that he can speak or not speak, see or not see, hear or not hear? Now go ahead and do as I tell you, for I will help you speak well, and I will tell you what to say. But Moses said, Lord, please send someone else. Then Lord became angry. All right, he said, your brother Aaron, he's a good speaker, and he is coming here to look for you and will be very happy when he finds you. So I will tell you what to tell him, and I will help both of you speak well, and I will tell you what to do. He will be your spokesman to the people, and you will be as God to him, telling him what to say. And be sure to take your rod along so that you can perform the miracles I have shown you. Moses returns home and talks it over with Jethro, his father-in-law. With your permission, Moses said, I will go back to Egypt and visit my relatives. I don't even know whether they're still alive. Go with my blessing, Jethro. But before Moses left Midian, Jehovah said to him, Don't be afraid to return to Egypt, for all those who wanted to kill you are dead. So Moses took his wife and sons and put them on a donkey and returned to the land of Egypt, holding tightly to the rod of God. Jehovah told him, When you arrive back in Egypt, you are to go with Pharaoh and do the miracles I have shown you. But I will make him stubborn so that he will not let the people go. Then you are to tell him, Jehovah says, Israel is my eldest son, and I have commanded you to let him go away and worship me. But you have refused me, and now I will slay your eldest son. As Moses and his family were traveling along and stopped for the night, Jehovah appeared to Moses, threatening to kill him. Then Zipporah, his wife, took a flint knife, and cut off the foreskin of her youngest son's penis and threw it against Moses' feet, remarking disgustedly, What a blood smeared husband you've turned out to be. And God let him alone. Now Jehovah said to Aaron, Go into the wilderness to meet Moses. So Aaron traveled to Mount Hebron and the mountain, and God met Moses there, and they greeted each other warmly. Moses told Aaron what God had said they must do and what they were to say, and told him about the miracles they must do before the Pharaoh. So Moses and Aaron returned to Egypt and summoned the elders of the people of Israel to a council meeting. Aaron told them what Jehovah said to Moses, and Moses performed the miracles as they watched. Then the elders believed what God had sent them, and when they heard what Jehovah had visited them and had seen their sorrows and decided to rescue them, they all rejoiced and bowed their heads below and worshiped. After this presentation to the elders, Moses and Aaron went to see Pharaoh. They told him, We bring you a message from Jehovah, the God of Israel. He says, Let my people go, for they must make a holy pilgrimage out of the wilderness for a religious feast to worship me. Is that so? Retorted Pharaoh. And who is Jehovah that I should listen to him and let Israel go? I don't know Jehovah, and I will not let Israel go. But Aaron and Moses persisted. The God of the Hebrews has met with us, and they declared, We must take a 3 day trip into the wilderness and sacrifice there to Jehovah our God. If we don't obey, we face death by plague or sword. Who do you think you are? Pharaoh shouted, distracting the people from their work. Get back to your jobs. That same day, Pharaoh sent his order to the taskmasters of officers he sent to the people of Israel. Don't give them any more straws for making bricks. However, don't reduce their production quotas by a single brick, for they obviously have enough time to do else, or they wouldn't be talking about going out to the wilderness and sacrificing to their God. Load them with work and make them sweat. That will teach them to listening to Moses and Aaron's lies. So the taskmasters and the officers informed the people Pharaoh has given orders to furnish you with no more straw. Go and find it wherever you can, but you must produce just as many bricks as before. So the Pharaoh scattered everywhere. So the people scattered everywhere to gather straw. The taskmasters were brutal. Fulfill your daily quota just as before, they kept demanding. Then they whipped the Israeli crew bosses. Why haven't you fulfilled your quotas either? Yesterday or today, they roared. Then the four men went to the Pharaoh and pleaded with him. Don't treat us like this, they begged. We are given no straw and told us to make as many bricks as before, and we are beaten for something that isn't our fault. It isn't our fault that your taskmakers are making such unreasonable demands. But Pharaoh replied, You don't have enough work, or else you wouldn't be saying, Let us go and sacrifice to Jehovah. Get back to work. No straw will be given to you. You must deliver the regular quota of bricks. And the four men saw that they were indeed in a bad situation when they met Moses and Aaron waiting for them outside of the palace as they came out from their meeting with Pharaoh. They swore at him, May God judge you for making us stink before Pharaoh and his people, they said, and for giving them an excuse to kill us. Then Moses went back to the Lord. Lord, he protested, How can you mistreat your own people like this? Why did you ever send me if you were going to do this to them? Ever since I gave Pharaoh your message, he has only been more and more brutal with them, and you have not delivered them at all. Now you will see what I shall do to Pharaoh, the Lord told Moses, for he is going to be forced to let my people go. He will not only let my people go, but will drive them out of his land. I am Jehovah, the Almighty God, who appeared to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Though I did not reveal my name, Jehovah, to them, I entered into the solemn covenant with them. Under its terms, I promised to give them, their descendants, the land of Canaan, where they were living. And now I have heard the groanings of the people of Israel in slavery now to the Egyptians, and I remember my promise. Therefore, tell the descendants of Israel that I will use my mighty power and perform great miracles to deliver them from slavery and make them free. And I will accept them as my people and be their God. And they shall know that I am the Jehovah their God, who has rescued them from the Egyptians. I will bring them into the land I promised to give to Abraham. Isaac, Jacob, it shall be my people. So Moses told them what God had said, and that they wouldn't listen anymore because they were too dispirited after the tragic consequence of what they had said before. Now the Lord spoke to Moses again and told him, Go back again to Pharaoh and tell him that he must let the people of Israel go. But look, Moses objected, My own people won't ever listen to me anymore. How can I expect Pharaoh to? I'm no orator. Then the Lord ordered Moses and Aaron to return to the people of Israel and the Pharaoh and the king of Egypt, demanding that the people be permitted to leave. These are the names of the heads of the clans of the various tribes of Israel. The son of Reuben, Israel's elder son. I'm not going to read all these names, they're just names. It says, These are all the names of the heads of the clans of the Levites and the families within the clans. Aaron and Moses included in that list are the same Aaron and Moses to whom Jehovah said, Lead all the people of Israel out of the land of Egypt, and who went to Pharaoh to ask permission to lead the people from the land, and to whom the Lord said, I am Jehovah. Go and give Pharaoh the message I have given to you. This is that Moses who argued with the Lord, I can't do it. I am no speaker. Why should Pharaoh listen to me? Then the Lord said to Moses, See, I've appointed you as my ambassador to Pharaoh, and your brother Aaron shall be your spokesman. Tell Aaron everything I say to you, and he will announce it to Pharaoh, demanding that the people of Israel be allowed to leave Egypt. But I will cause Pharaoh to stubbornly refuse, and I will multiply my miracles in the land of Egypt. Yet even though Pharaoh won't listen to you, so I will crush Egypt in a final major disaster, then lead my people out. The Egyptians will find out that I am indeed God when I show them my power and force them to let my people go. So Moses and Aaron did as the Lord commanded them. Moses was 80 years old and Aaron 33 at this time. No, 83 at this time. And their confrontation with Pharaoh. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, Pharaoh will demand that you show him a miracle to prove that God has sent you. When he does, Aaron is to throw down his rod and it will become a serpent. So Moses and Aaron went to see Pharaoh and performed the miracle as Jehovah had instructed. Then Aaron threw down his rod before Pharaoh and his court, and it became a serpent. Then Pharaoh called in his sorcerers, the magicians of Egypt, and they were able to do the same thing with their magical arts. Their rods became serpents too, but Aaron's serpent swallowed their serpents. Pharaoh's heart was still hard and stubborn, and he wouldn't listen. The Lord's Lord pointed this out to Moses, that Pharaoh's heart had been unmoved. Nevertheless, the Lord said, "Go back to Pharaoh in the morning to be there as he goes down the river. Standing there behind the river bank, there will be holding your hand, and the rod will turn into a serpent." Okay. This is the swarms of flies. So basically, he did it. He didn't believe it. Then the Egyptians dug a well along the river bank. Hold on. Oh yeah. So he turned. Hold on, because I think I might be missing a page, or did I skip a page? Okay. Yes, I did. Okay. So Moses and Aaron went to see the Pharaoh perform the miracle. The Pharaoh was unimpressed. The Lord said to go back, and he was going to turn the river into blood. You are going to find out that I am God. I've instructed Moses to hit the water, the Nile with the rod, and the river will turn to blood. The fish will die, and the river will stink, so that the Egyptians will be unwilling to drink from it. Then the Lord instructed Moses to tell Aaron to point his rod towards the water of Egypt, and all the rivers and canals, marshes, and reservoirs, and even the water stored in bowls and pots in the homes will turn to blood. So Moses and Aaron did as the Lord commanded to them, and the Pharaoh and all of his officials watched Aaron hit the surface of the Nile with the rod, and the river turned to blood. The fish died, and the water became foul, that the Egyptians couldn't drink from it. There was blood throughout the land of Egypt. But then the magicians in Egypt used their secret arts, and they too turned the water into blood. So the Pharaoh's heart remained hard and stubborn, and he didn't listen to Moses. The Lord said to Moses, "Go again in the Pharaoh and tell him, 'Let my people go.' If you refuse, I will send vast hordes of frogs across your land from one border to another. The Nile River will swarm with them, and they will come into your houses, even your bedrooms, right before into your beds." Do you guys remember there was an outbreak all over France with bed bugs? That was a couple years ago. That was like, I want to say like 3 years ago. I'm pretty sure it was in France. They had a really bad bed bug outbreak. It says every home in Egypt will be filled with them. They will fill your ovens, your kneading bowls, and your people with the immersed in them. And the Lord said to Moses, "Instruct Aaron to point the rod towards all your rivers, streams, pools, Egypt, so that there will be frogs in every corner of the land." Aaron did. The frogs covered the nation. But the magicians did the same thing with their secret arts, and they too caused frogs to come up upon the land. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and begged and plead with God to take frogs away, and I will let my people go and sacrifice to him. Be so kind as to tell him you want them to go, Moses said, and I will pray that the frogs will die at the time you specify, everyone except for the river. Do it tomorrow, Pharaoh said. All right, Moses replied, it shall be as you said. Then you will know that there is no one like your Lord, and all the frogs will be destroyed except the ones in the river. So Moses and Aaron went out from the presence of the Pharaoh and pleaded with the Lord concerning the frogs he had sent. And the Lord did as Moses promised. Dead frogs covered the countryside and filled with the nation's homes. They were piled into great heaps, making a terrible stench throughout the land. But when Pharaoh saw that the frogs were gone, he hardened his heart and refused to let the people go, just as the Lord predicted. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Tell Aaron to strike the dust with his rod, and it will become lice throughout all the land of Egypt." So Moses and Aaron did as God commanded, and suddenly lice infested the entire nation, covering Egyptians and their animals. Then the magicians tried to tell the same thing with their secret arts, but this time they failed. "This is the finger of God," they exclaimed to Pharaoh. But Pharaoh's head was hard and stubborn, and he wouldn't listen to them, just as the Lord had predicted. Next, the Lord told Moses, "Get up early in the morning and meet Pharaoh as he comes out of the river today, and said to him, 'Jehovah says, let my people go and worship me. If you refuse, I will send swarms of flies throughout Egypt. Your homes will be filled with them and will be covered with them, and it will be very difficult in the land of Goshen in Israel to live. No flies will be there. Thus you will know that I am the Lord God of your earth. And Jehovah did as he said. So there was a terrible swarm of flies in Pharaoh's palace and in every home in Egypt. Pharaoh hastily summoned Moses and Aaron and said, "All right, go ahead and sacrifice to your God, but do it here on the land. But don't go into the wilderness." Moses replied, "That won't do. Our sacrifices to God are hated by the Egyptians. And if we do this right here before their eyes, they will kill us. We must take a 3-day trip into the wilderness and sacrifice there to Jehovah our God as commanded us." "All right, go ahead," Pharaoh replied, "but don't go too far away. Now hurry and plead with God for me." "Yes," Moses said, "I will ask him to cause the swarm of flies to disappear. But I am warning you that you must never lie to us by promising to let the people go and changing your mind." So Moses went out from the Pharaoh and asked the Lord to get rid of the flies. And the Lord did as Moses asked and caused the swarm to disappear, so that no, not one remained. But Pharaoh hardened his heart again and did not let the people go. "Go back to Pharaoh," the Lord commanded, "and the God of Hebrews. Demand that you let his people go to sacrifice to him. If you refuse, the power of God will send a deadly plague to destroy your cattle, horses, donkey, camels, flocks, and herds." Do you guys remember when there was that big plague? This was a couple years too, when all those fucking cows just dropped dead out of nowhere, and everybody was so weird. I remember that. I remember that. That was right. That was like 2024. I'm pretty sure that was 2024. I remember that. It says the plague will affect your cattle of Egypt. It says none of the Israeli herds and flocks will ever be touched. The Lord announced that the plague would begin the very next day, and it did. The next morning, all the cattle of the Egyptians began dying, but not one of the Israelis' herds was even sick. Pharaoh sent to see whether it was true that none of the Israeli cattle were dead. Yet, when he found out that this was so, even then his mind remained unchanged, and he refused to let the people go. Then Jehovah said to Moses and Aaron, "Take ashes from the kiln of Moses, toss it to the sky of the Pharaoh watches. It will spread like fine dust all over the land of Egypt and cause boils to break out upon people and animals alike throughout the land." And there are so many diseases that came out. Y'all remember the monkeypox that came out that only infected gay men and they broke out in boils? Why do you think that it would only affect gay men? I remember that. It's called monkeypox. Says, then Jehovah said to Moses and Aaron, takes ashes. Okay, yeah. It would spread like fine dust all over and cause boils to break out upon people with animals alike throughout the land. So they took ashes from the kiln and went to Pharaoh, and he watched. Moses tossed it toward the sky, and it became boils that broke out on men and animals alike throughout Egypt. And the magicians couldn't stand before Moses because of the boils, for the boils appeared upon them too. But Joseph hardened the Pharaoh in his stubbornness, so that he refused to listen, so that the Lord had protected Moses. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Get up early in the morning and stand before the Pharaoh and tell him, Jehovah the God of Hebrews says, let my people go to worship me. This time I am going to send a plague that will really speak to you and to your servants and all of the Egyptian people and prove to you that there is no other God on this earth. I could have killed you all by now, but didn't, for I wanted to demonstrate my power to you in all of earth. So you still think you are so great. Do you defy my power and refuse to let my people go? Well, tomorrow about this time, I will send a hailstorm across the nation, such as there had been since Egypt was founded. Quick, bring in your cattle from the fields, for every man and animal left out in the fields will die beneath the hail." Soon some of the Egyptians, terrified by his threat, brought their cattle and slaves in from the fields. But those who had no regard for the word of Jehovah left them out in the storm. Then Jehovah said to Moses, "Point your hand toward the heaven and cause the hail to fall to all of Egypt, until upon the people, animals, and trees." So Moses held his hand from the Lord, sent thunder and hail and lightning. It was terrible beyond description. Never in all the history of Egypt had there been a storm like that. All Egypt lay in ruins. Everything left in the fields, men, animals alike, were killed. The trees were shattered and the crops were destroyed. The only spot in all of Egypt without any hail that day was the land of Goshen, where the people of Israel lived. Then Pharaoh sent for Moses and Aaron. I finally see. My fault, he confessed. Jehovah was right, and my people have been wrong all along. Beg God to end this terrible thunder and hail, and I will let you go for once. All right, Moses replied. As soon as I left for the city, I will spread out my hand to the Lord, and the thunder and the hail will stop. This will prove to you that the earth is controlled by Jehovah. But as far as you and your officials, I know that even yet you will not obey him. All the flax and barley were knocked down and destroyed, for the barley was ripe and the flax was in bloom, but the wheat and the emmer were not destroyed, for they were not yet out of the ground. So Moses left Pharaoh and went out of the city and lifted his hands to the heaven of the God. And the thunder and the hail stopped the rain pouring down. When Pharaoh saw this, he and his officials sinned yet more by their stubborn refusal to do what they had promised. So Pharaoh refused to let the people leave, just as the Lord had predicted to Moses. And the Lord said to Moses, Go back again and make your demand upon the Pharaoh. But I have hardened him and his officials so that I can do more miracles demonstrating my power. What stories can what stories you can tell your children and grandchildren about the incredible things I am doing in Egypt? Tell them what fools I have made of the Egyptians and how I proved to you that I am Jehovah. So Moses and Aaron requested another audience with Pharaoh and told him, Jehovah, the God of the Hebrews, asks, How long will you refuse to submit to me? Let my people go so they can worship me. If you refuse, tomorrow I will cover the entire nation with a thick layer of. That's it, because I don't have the other pages, but basically, he ends up making everybody sick. He ends up killing all the firstborn sons of all of them. He ends up doing a whole lot of plagues. He ends up sending a lot of stuff. And then, even when he lets the people go, the Pharaoh ends up chasing them, trying to attack them. And basically, this is the scene where God parted the Red Sea, and where God parted the Red Sea. No offense, but I'm not going to take advice from a demon. You're fucking demonic. I don't want any advice with you about how to interpret the Bible. You're demonic. God has been away from you for a long time. Look at your life. Your health has declined. You're fruitless. And you're miserable. I don't want any advice on how to interpret the Bible, especially from you. God has not been near you for a long time. Look at your life. No offense, but I definitely don't want any advice about the Bible from you. God is nowhere near you. Nowhere near you. Yeah. Look at your life. You could even look at your own life. It's going to be extremely bad for a lot of you. It's already bad for a lot of you. Health problems, financial problems, legal problems. It's not looking too good. Yeah, it's not looking too good. Yeah. So basically, they end up getting free, but they have to go through a lot. And then once they get in the wilderness, the people start misbehaving and not listening to God. So God ends up killing all the old people and pretty much anybody who is over the age of 25, 23. I don't know the exact age. I don't want to lie, but I know that people who are over a certain age, he ended up killing everybody. But I don't think he killed them. He said they had to live in the wilderness until they died. So they were basically never going to get into the promised land. which totally makes sense. So yeah, that's the little vibe for today. I'm about to end it. I'm about to sit in the sun for a second, listen to music. But I may get back on before I go to bed tonight. I may not. Might do another Bible study. But yeah, that's the vibes.